Welcome to Moving Conversations, a podcast for movement professionals by movement professionals. If you coach, train, or teach movement, Pilates, or fitness, then this podcast is for you. With more than 60 years of experience in fitness and Pilates, your hosts, Brian Ritchie and Nora St. John, explore the science of human movement, diving deep into the facts, myths, and common misconceptions, hoping to spark thought and conversation about how we view fitness and movement. Now, let's jump into Moving Conversations. And welcome back to Moving Conversations. I'm Brian Ritchie. Joining me as always is Nora St. John. Good morning, Nora. How you doing?
I'm very excited today. We have a wonderful, wonderful interview with Amy Boone Thompson from IDEA.
Yes, I met her a few years ago when we were both doing IDEA Korea, and I got an opportunity to really sit down and talk with her for an extended period of time, and it was wonderful. It was really a neat opportunity to find out more about her because, as you know, you see people each year at these conferences and you're just like, oh, hi, and you wave to each other, but you really don't know each other. So this is a great opportunity. We're going to find out more about her as well as about IDEA Health and Fitness. So it'll be a very cool interview. And before we get to that, though, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button on the platform of your choice. Comment, please. We appreciate every comment, all the shares, all the likes, all of that kind of stuff. You can check us out at Moving Convos on Gmail. We're going to be posting very soon a bunch of new Anatominis, which we just recorded in Korea. So we're very excited about those. So you guys are going to learn a bunch of new stuff and a bunch of new exercises. And if you want to get in touch with us, movingconvos@gmail.com. And we have Moving Conversations Live, taking it on the road, taking the show on the road. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about when and where that's going to be?
Blue Moon Pilates, which is in Mission Viejo, which is in Orange County, California, is going to be hosting Brian and I for a 2-day episode of Moving Conversations Live, September 13th and 14th. And we'll be doing a full day on the low back. Again, a little bit of theory, but a lot of practical stuff. The idea here is to make these as practical as possible. Here's some protocols. Here's some ways to put things together. Here's both Pilates programming and personal training programming for these conditions. Then on Sunday, the second day, we'll be doing something on the shoulder, 3 hours on the shoulder and 3 hours on the osteoporosis. So really hot topics. Again, the registration information is in the show notes. You're welcome to come and join us for that. We'd love to see you. And now, again, Amy Boone Thompson is a real leader in the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been in it for many, many years. She's been a presenter. She's been all kinds of things. And now she actually owns and runs IDEA Fit, which has been a real pillar of our fitness community for many decades now. And now she's taken over the helm and is a really inspiring leader in that role. So let's welcome Amy Boone Thompson.
We're sitting here with Amy Boone Thompson, who's the CEO of IDEA Health and Fitness. She and I have been talking these last few years, and I'm thrilled to have you on board today and can't wait to talk to you more about the fitness world and what you've got going on.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you both.
Fantastic. I was thinking back for you and I, the first time that we actually got to sit down and talk. What was it, about 3 years ago at IDEA Korea?
Yeah, I guess it was 3 years ago. Wow, time flies. But yeah, we had a chance to be stuck together on another continent. And there's nothing like, being on another continent with a handful of people who speak English to really bond you. So yeah, it was really a great opportunity.
Yeah, Nora and I literally just got back 2 days ago from Korea doing a Pilates on tour. So yeah. And it is, you're right. When you sort of find other people who are not only like-minded, but also speak English, mm-hmm. It's always a nice thing and a welcome opportunity, because I'm sure you've been at many dinners where you're sitting across from someone and there's a big language barrier and you can just be like, I don't know exactly how to communicate. So it was kind of nice to be able to sit down with you. And I think we had a nice walk from the hotel over to the venue and then sat down for a while. So it was really cool. It was nice to have an opportunity to sit down and chat with you.
Thank you. And you as well, because I had seen you from afar. I knew you were one of our top subject matter experts, but I had not ever really had a chance to connect with you. So I too appreciated the time together.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I wanted to first start with just your history in fitness, because you are a fitness professional. And I think, like Nora and I, you've been doing it for longer than we sometimes care to admit.
That's true. Yes. It's back to 1997, really. Well, 96, 97 was when I first got, no, 95. That's when I graduated college, and I took my first job as a personal trainer in an all women's club in the same town where I went to college. At the same time, I was going to massage therapy school. I had my degree in K through 12 health and physical education, and I minored in athletic training. My university didn't even have kinesiology or exercise science, and so I did the next best thing. I thought I would go physical therapy, to be honest. That's why I initially entered the space. But then, I didn't want to be in a clinic. I didn't want to work in an office at the time. I really envisioned myself working more outside or with athletes. And that's what athletic training allowed was, I was traveling with teams, taping ankles, doing the rehab, all of those things. But anyway, that led me to 30 years now of being in the industry. And my claim to fame is that I've held pretty close to every job that exists in the space. From floor trainer, I even got certified mat Pilates instructor. I was teaching group fitness. I worked in the spa because of my massage therapy. I've been a general manager. I've been an owner of a studio. I worked in sports leagues because of my background in athletics. So yeah, every job. And then that brought me to my role today after 3 decades.
That's amazing.
And what we were talking about, Brian and I, before this, and we talked about having you on, was this gives you a kind of unique view of the industry. You've really literally seen it from every possible side and more.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to bring up was, like, what are you seeing in terms of how the industry is changing, where you want to take it, how ideas influencing all of that? Because you clearly have a real leadership role in terms of where the industry is going, and what's kind of your vision. I know I'm kind of asking a big question right off the bat, but
it's deep. Well, I also have been on the supplier side of the business, mind you. So I worked with Les Mills in business development.
Wow.
So with all those different perspectives, and really at the time when I stepped into first leading IDEA and now owning IDEA, I always approach every decision for this business based on the fact that I am a fitness professional. I know I've been on the ground. I've done the grueling long shifts. I've worked the 5 a.m. to the end. I've run my own business. I was doing in-home training. Like, I know the struggles, the challenges, and the incredible opportunity that we have as Fit Pros to impact millions of lives. And so every decision I make for this platform is with the Fit Pro in mind, truly. Because IDEA was with me every step of my career, I moved to California in 1997, that I'm sure of. I started working at the sporting club at Aventine, and that's where I held a lot of those different types of positions, and started then getting into management and leading the business of personal training. But every single step of my career, I was attending IDEA World. I was reading IDEA Fitness Journal. Then I started presenting for IDEA. Then I started taking my teams to IDEA. So every single step of my career, no matter what my role was, it was an extension of my family. It was my community. It's where I got my knowledge. It's where I was connecting. It's where I upskilled. And so for me, IDEA is this incredible platform, and it's multifaceted. And I know that if we can keep this platform alive for future fitness professionals, they too will be able to elevate their careers and their professionalism so much faster and so much more cohesively. So that's more about the why than the what, but I think that will kind of set the stage for the rest of our conversation.
Out of curiosity, I just want to circle back. What was your first IDEA World? What year? Where was it? And what do you remember from it?
It must have been 97, because I had just moved to California, got introduced. I moved in June. I went to the event in July. It was in Anaheim. I shared a room with my boss and two other trainers. I slept with my boss right out of the gate. She's a woman, but still, it's Lisa Druxman, who everybody here probably knows. We shared 4 to a room because in those days we were in our 20s and we were just trying to make ends meet in the gig economy, and every penny mattered. So I remember we had coolers of food in the room. We just did it on the cheap. We all drove together. We stayed in the same room. Those were such incredibly magical moments. We would divide and conquer. So we would all go to different sessions. And then at the end of the night, we'd come together, we'd have a glass of wine, and we'd talk about, what did you learn today? Who was your favorite speaker? What are you going to tomorrow? And that just set the stage again for 30 years of learning and growth and excitement. And, but yeah, my first was Anaheim, and I slept with my boss. That's my,
what a memory to have.
Awesome.
See, my first was 93.
Okay.
And it was in Vegas. And I went as a very young, brand new trainer who thought I knew everything. And getting there and being around so many like-minded people and being so overwhelmed, it was just so phenomenal to be in this environment of all these people that are like me. Yeah. And then it was the first time that I realized I know nothing. I'm absorbing everything. I'm a sponge. I'm absorbing all of this information because it is so much coming at you so fast that by the end, because it was 4 days that I think it was 3.5 days at that point. By the final day, your eyes are this big. You're not retaining any more information. You're just wandering around like a zombie. But that memory is still with me. I still remember going to my first class and being among hundreds of people. I was a group exercise instructor as well, starting out, and just seeing all these people thinking, oh my gosh, these are my people. Yeah. And it was so wonderful to sort of be there, coming from a island, Hawaii, and being in a small studio and things. You don't really get that same environment. You don't get the same amount of people and like-mindedness, and you're not inspired by other people as much until you go to a place like this and suddenly you want to upsell your knowledge and really your skill set, and okay, I can do this. So yeah, that was a huge moment for me, a huge moment in my career.
What was your idea story, Nora? Not to turn the table, but I always love hearing people's stories.
A friend of mine was a yoga teacher and a Pilates person, and she's like, we're going to go to IDEA, and we're going to go to, I think it was the first year there was a yoga pre-con in Las Vegas. I have no idea what year this was. I don't have a memory for years. And we went, and it was definitely the first time I had been in a room with probably 300 people all doing yoga. And it was just great. And wandering around Las Vegas and wandering around, seeing all the things that were happening. So that was my first experience. And then after that, I really came as part of Balanced Body, which I was part of forever. And it's just so great to have a community, and the job you're doing is building and creating community, which for all of us who do this work is invaluable. It's inspiring, it's supportive, and it really gives us that opportunity to share and to grow and to feel like we're not alone. Because sometimes when you're there with your clients and you're there with your clients, you're kind of alone with your clients. It's just so great to have that support, and I love what IDEA has done ever since the beginning.
Yeah. And you both shared that you met at Personal Trainer Institute. So collaborations like this are a perfect example of how events can bring people together.
Oh yeah. We've told the story many times that we probably never would have met unless we were both presenting, and we just started talking and realized, wow, we're speaking the same language. And, a lot of people think Pilates and personal trainer, oh, they're very separate things. And as we're talking, we're thinking, I know my mindset was, we're saying the same thing with different words. We're speaking the same language. This is really amazing. And our relationship has blossomed ever since. And that's got to be 10 years ago, if not longer.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, it was fortuitous, and it's really changed, where I've gone in my career as well. I do remember that all of these fitness conferences back in the day were all where we would all come every year, and you'd see the same people, and you really saw your community, you really saw your friends and whatnot. And I'm curious what your take is on the fitness community right now, and just where we sort of stand now that, I mean, COVID sort of changed a lot of things, I think. And building back after COVID, I think, has been a challenge, I'm sure. And I'm curious what your ideas were, your thoughts and everything after, surviving such a dramatic shift in the industry.
Yeah. Well, specifically with events, we did do virtual events during COVID, and we found that we could do them very well. They were beautifully executed from an education standpoint in terms of learning and providing education. Now, keep in mind, IDEA has been providing content online for over 15 years. So we already had a platform. We have over 900 courses online because we were recording in the classrooms at events, and then we would bottle those up and sell them. So anyway, we already had a lot of digital content. That wasn't a shift for us. But what we realized during COVID when we were forced to go virtual is just the magic that in-person experiences offer to us. Now, I want to be clear, there's a place for everything and every learner and everybody, just like you as fitness professionals in your business, you'll find people who will want to work out with you online. You will find people who want to work out with you in person, and you will have to adapt your coaching style for one or the other. Well, the same is true of in-person events. There's lots of offerings. There's in-person learning, there's online learning, and each of them are going to give you a different level of in-depth learning or not, different interaction with your classmates and your teacher. So we really wanted to bring in-person events back. It has been, we're definitely not the size that we were pre-pandemic. We are still rebuilding to bring those Fit Pros back to Idea World. What's unique about our space also is now there's a lot of different events you could go to that are very niche. So you mentioned Pilates on Tour. Perfect. If I'm a Pilates instructor, that might be just right for me in this year. But guess what? Next year, I really want to hone in on my business skills. I want to hone in on general communication and cueing. I'm also a Group X instructor. I want to develop that side of my expertise. So Idea World offers you a place where all Fit Pros can come, and you might already have a niche, but you get to try different things. You get to hone in on different parts of your expertise, and you're interacting with Fit Pros across the board, nutritionists, strength coaches, PE teachers. Everybody comes to this event. So it's, I would say, more broad, not as much of a deep dive into the specific topics. So this year we're in Sacramento. We have been averaging about 4,000 attendees per event, which again is smaller than previous Idea Worlds, but still is the largest in the world for Fit Pros to come to. We're really excited to welcome everyone back.
Nora and I have talked about this, and she can back me up on this. The difference, I think, between online and in person is energy. When you're doing it in person, you're getting the feedback, you're getting the energy. I spent a number of years doing stand-up comedy and things like that. So being on stage and getting the feedback from an audience is incredibly important. And when you're talking to a camera, you're not getting that feedback. And when you're live and in person as an instructor, that feedback is so important. And when I'm taking classes, it's incredible to be around all the like-minded people who may have a question that I didn't even think of, but oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, I want that information. So I think the energy level is the primary difference to me about what I love about having an event live and in person. Do you agree, Nora?
The thing that I say about live is if I'm actually looking at training bodies, there's all kinds of stuff that can really come across beautifully and sometimes easier in video. Any kind of theory stuff, any kind of anatomy and how things work and that kind of thing, cueing, coaching, business stuff. But when you're really trying to explain, like, this is how the shoulder works on a body when they're doing a bench press or whatever it is, like, it really helps to have bodies in front of you that are doing it right and doing it wrong, right? So for me, the value of the in-person is but you see a whole bunch of different bodies, and you're getting that very practical impression and experience from looking at so many different bodies.
Yes.
You know, and I think there is, in my opinion, not really a good substitute for that particular thing. Really looking at the body, learning how to cue it, learning how to coach it.
Absolutely. And then the networking, like think about all the
Yes.
magic moments that happen in and around the class sessions, in
Yes.
the elevator, in the networking events, at the on the dance floor. Those, to me, if I think back, those are when I deepened relationships with other professionals, where I might remember them from introducing myself in a class, but then seeing them later and having a deeper conversation and learning about them, their business, their challenges. That's what solidifies the relationships that you will go back and then you'll maintain for your entire career.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I often see like people have their what do you call them? Their conference spouses.
Yeah,
Because I have friends who live all the way across the country. I only see them when we're at a conference together, but we value that time so much because they're like-minded people. They've got similar challenges to what I've got or whatever, and it's just so much. It's so fun to know that I'm going to see them. We're going to run around as a pack. We're going to get to refresh each other and share that knowledge, like you said about your first idea. It's just that's just so much fun, and it's so valuable to keep that community growing and building.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Debbie Bellinger just told me she and Abby Apple room together at every event, and they have for decades. Like it's just what they do. And I was like, that's so great. I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I also think that it's one of the few times where the teachers, the presenters, we're humans too. And it's a great place where the students can come up and actually have conversations with us. They can see us walking around and walk up to us and not feel so, oh, that's so-and-so, don't talk, that it doesn't put anybody on a hierarchy because we're all the same. Mm-hmm. We all love the body. We all love movement. We all love what we do. And we want to share this passion with other people. So when people come up and have questions, it's like, oh, let's go have coffee. And people are like, really? It's like, why not? And I think that's fabulous that we can create those relationships, among teachers and students and really be able to mentor the next generation. But at the same time, I love talking to people that I look up to and they sort of look at me like a peer. It's like, oh, wow, we are all together in this.
Yeah, Brian, that's a really good point. And it is one of the special aspects of our show, not just that the presenters are super approachable and willing and really crave that interaction, but our presenters are going to each other's sessions when they're not teaching. Like Brian would be in Nora's room, Nora would be in, I mentioned Debbie's room, and everybody's in learning from their peers because again, everybody goes off for 12 months and goes into their practice and has so many great insights and so many great case studies. And to bring all this knowledge back together and then to be so curious and always be learning, even though you might be at the top of what's considered your game, you still have so much to learn. And that's one of the things I love about our event.
Yeah, we are some of the most curious people, I think. Nora and I have always said that curiosity is why we do what we do with this podcast. We want to learn from you. We want to learn from other people, because if you just stay in your own box, you never grow.
That's right.
So what do you say when we're thinking about fitness now? What are the latest trends that you're seeing? What are kind of the things that are really popping from your perspective? Because you do have that wonderful overview, as you do when you conference like you do, to see what's popular, what's growing, what's happening. What are the trends that you see?
Yeah. Well, first, I would say this was happening before the pandemic, but the pandemic really amplified this, is that Fit Pros, regardless of your discipline, we are addressing the holistic person in front of us, the entire human. And it doesn't mean we have expertise in mental health or in nutrition, as an example, but what it means is that we are understanding that all of those things play into the success or the person reaching their goals. And we understand that we need to surround ourselves with a circle of allied health professionals who we can lean on, because it's an entire human in front of us. It's not just muscles and bones. And so I think that's the biggest shift that we've seen now. And also our consumer realizes the same thing. And our consumer understood that more deeply during COVID. And so now people are really taking better care of themselves in a holistic manner. They do ask more questions about mental health and nutrition. Again, just as two examples, but recovery, longevity, these are both trends, but also they are areas where we as fitness professionals can hone in. We can understand that we are affecting a human being and in all of these different areas, which leans to longevity and leans to better movement and prevents disease, et cetera. So that's the first probably shift. The second is that fitness professionals used to proudly wear the hat of their W-2 employer. I work for this company, and maybe I train someone in the garage or in a home on the side. And what we're hearing from our members is that it's completely different now. Now people say, I'm independently employed and I may have a job at the club or the studio, but people have their own businesses set up and they truly are treating their profession more like a business than ever before.
That is a huge,
that's a huge
difference.
Shift.
Yeah, because we were talking about that years ago. I think that there's a lot of lack of confidence in our industry. You never wanted to tell someone that you were a personal trainer because the only image that people have is, I forget what the movie was, but Brad Pitt played this completely dumb personal trainer hitting every single stereotype and that's what we always were afraid that we'd be seen as. We never saw ourselves as a professional. We were always sort of in our minds, the dumb jock. And I think that has changed because now when I tell people what I do and that I work with rehabilitation and medical exercise and things, the questions come out of the woodwork and people are like, oh, fantastic, and they start asking me questions. I'm like, oh, so you're interested. So I think that is a huge change in that people seeing this as a profession and not just a part-time job, not just a also, sort of thing.
Well, and the gig economy still exists, and it's really great that we can offer part-time roles for people, that people can use this profession around another job. And I'm in full support of that. But at the same time, you can make that an LLC or you can make that a corporation and you can have all the benefits that other business owners experience. And you can have your own client base. We're no longer dependent on a brick and mortar to bring us clients. Sure is convenient to step into a room of 100 people that they went and found and brought together and pay for the brick and mortar, but you're not beholden to that anymore. So our opportunities are limitless, both to run our business. We can teach from anywhere in the world. We can work with any person anywhere in the world at any time. We can record our content and make ancillary revenue off of our recorded content. Like, the opportunities to me are so exciting, and we're just tapping the surface of where people can take this profession, to be honest.
And I think the key thing about that, which I've seen just a huge change in, is accessibility. People used to go out and buy a DVD, come home, put it in, and that was their home workout. But now somebody can, set up their computer and have a personal coach in their living room telling them what to do. And I know for my world, in the Pilates world, it's like people who didn't have access to good studios can now just go on the internet and find somebody who's a world-class presenter in California, and they're in Dubai, and they set up a meeting with them. And that's really changed things. Like, the world has both gotten bigger and smaller in that same way, And I love that. I just love the fact that knowledge is being shared over a wider variety of people, and it's much more accessible to people who couldn't really participate in other ways, or weren't able to, didn't feel like they were able to.
That's right. The two of you can go to Korea 1 week and teach, and then you can train those same clients this week if they chose to follow you, or you could teach them, continue, because you're an educator, you could keep educating those people. So both teaching people one-on-one or online, but also being able to think about learning. So back to bringing that back to events. I mean, we do events all over the world. We do Idea Korea. We're part of programs for other events. We're doing the collaborative with ACSM now, and we have Virtual Personal Trainer Institute. But again, there's a place for every learner, and there's a place for every exerciser or every participant.
And that's something that has changed things is, I mean, back in the day, if you wanted your CECs, you had one choice. And way back when there was only one big conference a year, you had no choice. You had to go to this, event. And then you'd have a few smaller events. And I think this is much more common in the Pilates world, where you'd have workshops where you could get your CECs. But for fitness, we didn't have that nearly as much. And then Personal Trainer Institute, East and West, came out. It was like, oh my gosh, there's now 3 conferences. Oh, I can do one of those, and it's closer to my home, so I don't have to travel as far. I can save money. And now for the person who has, you and I both have children, who have kids and can't get away. You said you coach your kids, and, it's hard to get away if you're coaching a team and whatnot that you can see online, or you can just watch a program and get your CECs that way. So it's really expanded how we teach. And I think that's phenomenal. And as an instructor, I've been approached many times by organizations saying, we'd love to record your sessions and put it as part of our library and then market it to our, students. And when it's done internationally, it's incredible because I'm able to reach so many more markets that I wouldn't have access to normally, because I'm here in Washington, D.C., and I travel internationally, but it's still a small market because only so many people get to see me. So it's a great opportunity.
I just thought of another big advantage of in-person events. When you talked about CECs, many people may not know this, but if you attend an event, you do not have to do the follow-up quiz that is usually associated with your learning. If you take online courses, you are expected to have understood, and you have to take a quiz to show that you actually learned the content. But at an event that's in person, you don't do that. You just attend and you get your CECs. So we're offering 22 plus CECs from over 25 agencies at this event. So again, for those of you who are certified with multiple disciplines, our content should cover all of those. And then you just need to be in the room. There's no follow-up quizzes you have to take.
That's a plus.
Always an advantage.
It's easier to get them knocked out.
People I know are not that fond of quizzes. So, Amy, another thing that you mentioned when we were talking before is you've got one book out and you've got another one in the works. Tell us a little bit about the one you've got out and then the one you've got in the works.
Yeah, so I was invited to be part of a collaborative book called Lead Like a Woman. And this particular book was the Grateful edition. So my chapter, it was really an exciting opportunity. First, it's my first published book. So I was excited about finally getting something in print other than, articles in Idea Fitness Journal, et cetera. But in the chapter, I really got to explore how gratitude has played a role in all aspects of my life, but particularly in business. And I was able to share parts of the Idea story, stepping into that big leadership role first and then ownership, and talking about how the being intentional around gratitude as a leader has helped me to both shape the company, but also to approach every challenge with a totally different mindset. So that came out this year. It's already an Amazon bestseller, so you can grab it there if you're interested.
Awesome.
And
fantastic.
Then we have another exciting project coming up with Ideas brand. So we're going to be writing a collaborative book called Inspire the World to Fitness. And here you can learn from, again, some of the subject matter experts that you've been endeared to over the years. They're going to tell their stories. They're going to give you action items of how maybe you can propel your own business or amplify your professionalism or your personal brand. It's going to take a variety of different angles, but that book should be out later this year.
That's
Very
great.
Cool. Very cool.
It's really neat to hear from a variety of people. I like that because I may not one person may not speak to me, but someone else's story, oh my gosh, that's me.
Yeah.
So having that variety of authors really makes a huge difference. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We started with award recipients. By the way, Brian, you, a little known fact, maybe to this audience, you are an award recipient from the Idea Korea event. But yeah, we wanted to tell the stories of people who have been on Idea's stage and waved the flag proudly. So that's where we started, but you'll have all kinds of different experts in the book.
That's awesome.
Give us an example of how gratitude has shaped your leadership style. Just, I think that's a totally great topic, and I just want to, if there's anything you can bring up, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So when I grew up as an emerging manager, early in my career, I went into management and leadership, and I learned that that was where I felt I could have the biggest impact. So yes, I could see 50 clients or 100 clients at a club, but if I can work with 10 trainers, 15 trainers, and each of them sees 50 to 100 clients, like, to me, I just felt like that was really the space I wanted to be in. So early in my career, I really emulated the leadership styles that existed in our industry and in our profession. And it was, first of all, very male dominated. So it took in personal training, I would add, very gruff, very hardcore, and very kind of mean, like a mean coach. And that was never my style. And so I learned that, one, my style was to lean on my soft skills as a leader. And over the years, I guess that's really where I leaned in to say, I'm effective because of this, not in spite of this. And then how gratitude shows up in that is really appreciating both the opportunities that are presented to you to learn, and mind you, some of those are really big challenges and really scary things you deal with and hard. But if you approach it from the perspective of being grateful that you have that member at your club, or that you have that client and you're learning from them, a lot of times friction comes because you're growing and you've never dealt with that situation before. And so in leadership, and in management, you're presented with a variety of different types of challenges. A lot are human to human challenges. But if you approach that from a space of gratitude first, it resets the whole intention of everything that will come out of your mouth and how you are relating to the person in front of you. I always use gratitude in my leadership with my team. I'm incredibly grateful for every person who's stuck with Idea all these years, and particularly me the last 3 years. And I always teach that gratitude is best. It's okay through the screen, but like we talked about earlier, it's so much more powerful when you can express it face to face. And so I challenge leaders in leadership. Oftentimes we do it in our families, but we don't do it at work. Express gratitude, authentic gratitude, face to face as often as possible.
I think that, my perspective on our industry is we're a service industry and we're a caring industry, right? And so many of us out there, I know all you guys who are listening, you have relationships with your clients, and you have powerful relationships with your clients. And the more powerful those relationships are, the more effective the training can be, right? That if they have a real connection to you, they're just more willing to do what needs to be done. And I think gratitude is a really lovely way to frame that, as opposed to like, oh my God, I've got Cindy at 9 o'clock on Monday, right? And writing it right from noon o'clock on Sunday. And instead it's like, okay, well, we'll see what happens today. I'm going to just take it as it goes and see what I can do here.
I'm grateful to have Cindy at 9 o'clock. I'm grateful for the challenges Cindy brings me, because I'm learning from her and I'm a better professional, and showing up with both curiosity and gratitude will help you in all of those examples. So yes, great example.
Love it. Love it. No, thank you. That's great.
That's an awesome way to put it. Coming from Hawaii, there was a book written years and years ago called Managing with Aloha. And that's something that I think is just inbred in us who come from the islands, is that you do treat everybody like family. And it's called Ohana. And I treat all of my clients like that. So to me, as soon as they become a client, they're part of my family, my extended family. And all of my friends become part of my extended family. And I am grateful for every single person that I do come in contact with. And I think that that's really an interesting way to do it. I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, we had a big meeting at Balanced Body, and we had a dinner. And we had to go around the room and say, what word is going to best describe this year? And Portia Page said, gratitude. And that hit home to me more than anything else said that night. And it still stuck with me. So when you said it, I was like, yes. And I love the thought that that's a management style that you choose to lead with, because I think it's so important.
Yeah. Thank you. And Portia's wonderful. I can just envision her saying that, and oh, so good. Yes.
Is there any, I was just curious, because for me, every time I went to Idea World, I would walk 2, 3, 4, 5 times around the trade show and try and find the next thing. I was an early adopter for just about everything. I would see something like, yes, I have to have it. I love my toys. I bring back toys, and my staff is always like, ooh, toys, cool. And I'd have to teach them how to use it. So I was always buying stuff and bringing it home. Is there anything on the horizon or any new training style that you see that's sort of like, I think that's got potential? Because I think years ago, mobility became really big. And before that, it was sort of suspension trainers were really big. And, we have this ebb and flow of different styles and whatnot. Is there anything that you see sort of on the horizon that you feel as a fitness professional, that's got a real, that could be big?
That is a great question. And I walk the trade show multiple times and talk to everyone. It's my jam. So what I think is innovative this year, well, first, we have a new partner. They've only been in business for 2 years. They're coming in a really big way. It's WeGym. And what I love about WeGym is that they are really bringing a beautiful aesthetic design to standard equipment that we've all, I guess, dealt with or worked with over the years. Mainstream gym equipment, they're modernizing. They realize now that our homes, our lifestyle is fitness is an extension of our lifestyle, and therefore we don't have to go into a industrial type of setting to enjoy movement and wellness. And so their equipment is designed to flow with your home or with your office. It's very, very pleasing. They also have a passion. It's a woman-owned business. So they have a passion for women's fitness. And so they're recognizing that women are working out in more and more numbers. Pilates has already known that for a long time, but women don't need to just be in Pilates. They want to participate in strength. And so rather than just have a place in the gym that's for everybody, you can have places that are beautiful, aesthetically designed and pleasing to the eye. So you got to come see WeGym's equipment. I love what they're doing. I love what's happening in the company, even behind the design and the thoughtfulness. We will have, we all know that the word longevity, I've used it already twice on the podcast.
Yes.
People want to live longer, and there's lots of ways we can do that. So you're going to see red light therapy. You're going to see nutrition products. You're going to see skincare products. You're going to see lots of recovery modalities. So there's innovations in, I know I'm forgetting the word, percussion. There's even innovations around all the different tools that we're using for recovery. So you'll see all of those. And then, of course, Balanced Body will be there. It's their headquarters. Sacramento is their home. We have Naboso, Dr. Emily. I did a podcast with her. She said she's bringing something new for everybody to see. So there's just going to be, this is the place where people reveal what's coming out next. Last year, we released, we were the showcase for Pete Holman's Glute Blaster, which is now mainstream clubs. Strength and conditioning programs are raving about it. So again, just a great place to come and see the latest and greatest. We are partnering, this is really cool. We have partnered with the Governor's Council of California. I want to say this right. Governor's Advisory Council. And we are working with the Coaching Alliance to bring a course that's free to coaches that is all about helping people with better body image and helping to really approach coaching with this whole different mindset. It's the opposite of what I just described about leadership and the hardcore coaches and trainers that were on TV for the 80s and 90s. This is a whole different way of approaching coaching. Positive Coaching Alliance is the group, and the course is a positive body image course that we're offering at Idea World. So we'll be welcoming coaches. The Governor's Council wants to train 25,000 coaches in the year 2025, and we are a host site for that training.
Fantastic. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's interesting you mentioned We Gym. 5-7 years ago, I forget, I went to FIBO in Germany. And what I discovered, their trade show, first of all, was bigger than anything I've ever seen in my life.
It's
That was
massive,
like,
yeah.
it was like
Truly
11
massive.
conference centers attached to a Broadway. And I was walking through just blown my mind. But style in other countries is taken to another level. The Italians, the French, they're beautiful. The gym designs and things, I was looking at all of the aesthetics, and they really focus on aesthetics. And I find that fascinating that it's taken us so long in America who they just want to be very industrialized and slap something on it and say, that's a gym. Whereas there it was gorgeous. You'd walk into a space and, oh my gosh, you are transformed. And it's as nicer than my home. You walk in, you think this place is spectacular. So I'm thrilled that that may be coming as well into the gym space here. I think it's been in the Pilates world for quite a while because it's more spa-like and more aesthetically pleasing than most gyms. And I'd love to see sort of the gym environment become a little bit more like that. I think that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, and Pilates is having another movement all over the world. I mean, you and I, we all know in Korea, it never left. It's been very
Huge.
predominant as the choice of movement in some countries, but it's really making a big comeback in the US. So we have some content focused around Pilates, but again, all of the program will help you be a better instructor no matter your discipline.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Like I say, I'm always curious to see what's coming up, what's new and whatnot. So the trade show is always something to look forward to. And I'm going to be presenting a few courses at Idea World, and I can't wait. I mean, my obesity course is on the docket. So when you talk about, you know, body acceptance and body awareness and really understanding who you're working with and the client you're working with is so important, that not everybody's body is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't treat every single body as the same. We've learned that finally. I think it's finally sort of taking place between men and women. People are realizing, ooh, they're different bodies. Oh my gosh. But just within understanding, you know, the difference between, you know, someone who is a little larger, someone who is a little smaller, that there is a difference. And I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and meeting someone where they're at, and how your cueing changes, your language as a teacher, as a coach, as an instructor is so powerful, and it can imprint someone for the rest of their life if we aren't careful with the language we use. So whether it's positive or negative, we're imprinting someone. So especially children, if you're working with children, the language that you're using as a coach, instructor, teacher, and parent is incredibly powerful. So let's use it for good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so thrilled that you came in today, decided to join us today. This was awesome. Awesome. I still remember that conversation that we had in Korea. And so when I mentioned it to Nora, I said, look, I think this would be a fantastic opportunity to find out more just about you and about IDEA and where IDEA is heading. I mean, before we wrap this up, where do you see IDEA heading in the next year, 2-3 years? Where do you see it sort of growing from here?
Well, first of all, we are more than an event. We are an association for our industry. So we exist for you. Every instructor, every coach, every nutritionist, we are here to help you throughout your career. We don't certify, but we point you to quality certifications. And then we wrap our arms around you and help you through every stage of your career. And so even our presenters, even our experts, as we said, like there is a place for everyone at IDEA. We are always learning. So we've got the online courses, the journal, the podcast, and we have our in-person events. So the goal is let's keep this platform going strong. So we have a community, not just in person, but online, where we can come together. Now, also, because we are an association, there's a piece of advocacy that we are involved with, and that means advocating for our role as instructors. I'm involved with World Active now, where all these associations have come together globally on behalf of our space and helping to professionalize our industry, helping to communicate differently and more united as a health, fitness, and wellness industry. We have a seat now at the World Health Organization, and I'm advocating for the professional and our interests. So others might advocate for the business owners and the big execs who own all the club chains, and there's a place for that, and that's fantastic. But IDEA truly is advocating for the coach, the instructor, the professional, our needs, helping us stay in business. We provide insurance, as an example, liability insurance. It's really low cost, $91 a year, as low as $91 a year. Health insurance, we've got you covered. Like, our goal is to provide all the resources you need so you can have a thriving, successful practice. And then we're here to be your community as well.
I've been a member with IDEA since '93, so I've never let that lapse. And I have utilized a lot of the marketing information, the liability insurance, all of that. So I can speak to say, look, it is an organization. It is something that does support us as professionals and is only getting stronger.
I didn't even mention our mentor network. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one of our biggest initiatives. So apologies. This year, we partnered with past IDEA award recipients, and we've created a mentorship. It's not an internship, sorry, a mentorship for Fit Pros, which pairs you with a mentor. These mentors have gone through training. Most are in academia. They're following guidelines to help you to reach your own goals, and no matter where you are in your career. So we've launched the mentorship. Come check that out. We also have our social media planners. We've got Program Builder, which is getting an enhancement this year in partnership with Gym Cloud. All of that is available to you here at IDEA. And again, our goal is to keep everything as inclusive as possible, meaning you get it all with your annual fee. You get all your CECs, unlimited CECs with your membership, the IDEA Fit Plus membership. So we know that whether you're here in the gig economy or that you're doing this full time and it is your livelihood, we want to be here to support you and help you through this profession so that ultimately you can reach more people.
Awesome. Well, do me a favor. Give me your socials. Give me, how can we reach you? All of that kind of thing.
And a discount to World. So I'm going to drop that in as well. That. Yes. Cool. So if anyone wants to come to World, we'll drop a discount. Hopefully you can get that on top of early bird rate. So you got to hurry to get that done.
Fantastic. And ideafit.com is the website.
It is ideafit.com, IdeaFit on all of our social handles. And then I am Amy Boone Thompson. So follow me, follow IDEA, but just get connected. We're here for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, I learned a lot. I don't know about you, Nora. I learned quite a bit.
No, it's great. And it's so wonderful to talk to somebody who's leading the industry in the right direction with a big heart and all that. That's what makes the difference. It's like, it's leaders like you that really do inspire the world to fitness and keep all of us fitness pros who are all the things that we are moving in the right direction. So thank you for all the work that you did. It's great. Great to hear from you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.